Hi, welcome back to the Gapster channel. I'm Gabby. If you want to build an inexpensive hi-fi system yet still really good, the best way to do it is to buy used vintage equipment. And this Sansui AU4900 is a fine example of that. This is not top of the line Sansui from that era. This was released in the mid-70s, so this is a 50-year-old unit, and I have not changed anything on it, and it still sounds amazing. I have tested this unit with the Analog Discovery 3 from Digiland, and I made a video about it. I'll put a link in the top corner here and also in the description. And it's just measured very nice, even after 50 years without a single component changed. This is true testament that they don't build them the way they used to. It's very solid, it's all metal construction alone, the knobs are beautiful, and the inside is as beautiful as the outside. So if you are on a budget, or let's say you want to set up a second room and you don't want to spend a fortune on it yet, you want it to still sound great, one way to do it is to pick up one of these amplifiers, pick up like one of these speakers. This is an IMF. This one is hard to find, but there are lots of different speakers out in the market and you can pick them up for almost next to nothing. And build yourself one of those inexpensive DACs like the Proto DAC. It's also a vintage unit using vintage chips. I'll put a link about it also in the corner and in the description. You can build it for as low as $100 to even like the Gapster Mini, which is $250. And you can get yourself a really nice system. You can get yourself one of the AU lines, and they range in price depends on which AU you get, and anywhere from $300 to up to a couple $1,000. This one retails right now on the market probably roughly around $300, $400, $500, something like that. This is an amplifier that probably the cheapest amplifier I ever picked in my life, but I picked this one up like 15 years ago and things were selling, people were just giving them away. Actually, I paid $5 for it, and basically just a garage sale. And at the time, I didn't think much of it. I just threw it in a rental. We had a little rental place where just as something for people to listen to. And then 10 years later, things starts to pick up. And I said, oh, I've got this Sansui. I've never listened to it. So I brought it back and I hooked it up. I was like, holy smokes, this thing sounds good. So yeah, so you never know. Don't underestimate. Just because it's a lower of the AU line, that doesn't mean they don't sound great. Just the power is not like 100 watts and 200 watts, but most of the time you don't need this much power. Like 10 watts is all you need. This has 35 watt per channel, and I actually measured it. It did measure that, so it's pretty amazing. And you know what's great about some of the vintage amplifiers is they have a phono input, like an amplified phono input. So you don't need to go and buy another cheap phono amplifier to use it. So it's just plug in your old vintage turntable and you're good to go. So like I said, an old vintage turntable for like $50, a Proto DAC for $100, this unit for like $300-400, speakers couple $100, and you're good to go. You got a rocking system that if you want to spend similar dollars on today's equipment, you'll probably be spending $3,000-4,000 before you get that kind of quality of sound. One of the purpose of my channel is to expose people that are starting out, or people that are in the intermediate or even advanced, to experiment with DIY stuff, vintage stuff, or even some of the fancy equipment. And I'm just trying to expose people to that, because I'm not trying to really always sell you guys things or promote things. Most of the time I'm very happy that people are experimenting great sound with very little dollars. And when I was a student, I remember building my own amplifier way back then. And I was so happy. I don't know if it sounded great back then or not. For me, it did sound amazing. I built some amazing big speakers. I wish I had pictures of them to show you, but they were like huge boxes with some basically chorale speakers, which to this day are still really good. And I was so happy with the sound. There is this proud of ownership. So if you're handy, build something. If you're not handy, buy a vintage something. That's the advice I can give you. And if you have tons of money, buy the expensive equipment. Good for you. So there's something for everyone. The main thing is to be happy with what you have. And often it's that happiness that matters the most. There's some drawbacks in getting a vintage machine like the Sansui here. The big one is that often it's hard to find a good unit. And try to avoid eBay if you can. When they say it's working, their description of working means it makes some sound. That's pretty much about it if you're lucky. And often it's usually needs quite a bit of work. And or you could still buy on eBay, but ask the seller to send you a video clip of it working and how it's sounding. You might not get, perfect idea. At least you have a slightly better idea that's actually that's actually works somewhat decent. Also, be prepared sometimes that you have to do some repairs. If you cannot fix things yourself, things could get costly. But if you can change a couple capacitors, you are done. You are good to go, and it's hard to beat that. And even Rusty likes it. He seems to approve. What do you think, Rusty? You like that? Yeah, he thinks it's good. So it's Rusty approved. All right. And for those who like to hear what these things sounds like, even though different units could sound completely different because of their age and condition, I just did it anyway. So I'm gonna record about 2 songs where you can listen to. I'll play about a few seconds of them here on YouTube, but if you want, you can download the full resolution format up to 20 seconds or so in my link below.
As you fade away, as you fade away, yeah, I'm about to fade away, 'cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look
I will put a couple links in the corners up top about other vintage units that I've made videos about. Feel free to explore. This way will give you some little bit of an exposure on this new vintage series that I'm doing here. I hope to see you again. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. Take care, and we'll see you on another video.